Hi everyone, I'm Chyill and welcome back to another Battlerites video. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys some stream footage of me checking out Jamila's abilities and Battlerites, like what I think about them and all that, and then I'll share my first impressions of her with you guys with some Jamila gameplay going on in the background. If you're not interested in seeing the beginning part where I cover her abilities and rights, then there's a timestamp either in the description below or a comment below, which you can click to bring you straight to the part where I share my thoughts on her. So with all that being said, let's begin. Assassin's Cut, that's her mouse 1 ability, and it says 3 quick stabs that deal 6 damage each, followed by a heavy strike that deals 16 damage. So pretty simple. Each one, energy gain is 3%. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 16. 1, 2, 3, 16. So 2 full combos deals like more than 60 damage. In fact, 1 full combo like that deals 34 damage, which is pretty strong. And if she can basically stick to a target, I think she can actually do quite a lot of damage with her mouse 1 actually. Of course, the big one is the 16 damage, right? This one is like you can deal like a massive burst, and I think you can keep the attack for quite a while. So when you charge up your third strike, you see your blade sort of shine a little bit. Yeah, so you can sort of charge it up, I think, and boom, go for it. So if you can, I think, as far as I know, sort of charge it out a little bit, get near and try to do a 16 damage strike, you know. Just as because usually as a melee you have like a limited window, right, to get in and attack somebody, and so you can typically charge it up before. Let me try this and do a 16 damage or something. I think that works out to be 30 damage because the E, which we'll get to later, deals like 14 damage as far as I know. So something like that. There, 30 damage. There we go. So yeah, this is her mouse 1 ability. Pretty standard, pretty interesting. And now we move on to her right click ability with the Shuriken. Throw a bouncing Shuriken dealing 18, 12 or 6 damage and inflicting snare. The snare, it's a 1.5 second snare for 30%. So yeah, let's do that. So 18, 12 and 6, and all of them are snared for 1.5 seconds each. Pretty cool. So as you can see, there you go, 18, 12, 6. But like the bounce range isn't as big as like Paloma's bounce range, like on her wolf. So if I try to bounce for these 3, it actually doesn't happen. See, it's just like 18. So yeah, a little unfortunate, but I mean, I think it'll be too strong if it can bounce as far as Paloma's one. So yeah, just 18. So yeah, next up, her spacebar ability is Elusive Strike, and what it does is hold to charge a dash for up to 0.8 seconds to increase damage and range. It deals 8 to 18 damage, and dashing into a wall triggers a wall jump that inflicts incapacitate, and the incap is like for 2 seconds. So let's try it out first without hitting the wall. There you go, 18 damage to everything. And as far as I know, it is an iframe, and so she doesn't get any damage while charging through this. See, her health bar actually disappears, and that's how you know it's an iframe. And so yeah, it's one of her only reliable iframes, so yeah, just keep that in mind, guys. And if you hit on a wall, she can sort of jump off the wall, and the second jump incaps. So because I played with her a little bit before this, this first component is an AoE, but this second in-cap kick is not an AoE. So the second kick actually triggers counters. So it's I can't show it to you guys in the playground because there's nothing that will counter my attack or anything. But just take my word for it. The first jump is not counterable, but the second jump is counterable. So yeah, just do keep that in mind. So yeah, alright. Next up is her Q ability, Shadow Dance. What Shadow Dance does is a counter ability, and it counters the next melee or projectile attack as usual. And when you counter an attack, she gains immaterial for 0.5 seconds, turn invisible, and has increased movement speed by 35% for 2.5 seconds. The next Assassin's Cut, that is her mouse 1, while invisible, becomes Shadow Slice, dealing 14 damage and inflicting Phantom Cut. So like there's a lot of terms there, but you can just sort of think of it as like a enhanced mouse 1. So I counter, I'm in material, I'm invis, I hit with Shadow Slice, and that's the what do you call it, Phantom Cut debuff that deals 22 damage after like a 2-second delay. So let me show it to you guys again. The counter hit, so 14 damage plus another 22. So that's a total of 14 plus 22 is what? 36 damage. So it's a 36 damage burst basically. That is your Q if you can pull it off. Not to mention that you can of course attack more with it during that time. So let's say we counter, hit, of course hit a few more times, and yeah, there you go. Lots of damage, lots of burst damage with her Q ability. So anyway, E ability, hook shot, launch a hook that deals 6 damage and pulls you and the enemy together. You strike after colliding, dealing 8 damage. Hook shot can also be used to pull yourself to a wall. So let's try it on this guy. So that's 14 damage. And yeah, pretty good, I think. Deals a little bit more damage than Shifu's Javelin actually, right? I think Shifu's one only deals 12. And if you use it on the wall, it actually pulls you to the wall. So you either pull you and the dummy or whatever your target is towards the center and you deal damage, or you can hook yourself to the wall. Bear in mind that this is not an iframe, so if you can see, like, the health bar is still there, and yeah, you cannot actually dodge damage with it. It's kind of like Rook's Charge. What else actually? Croak's E, yeah, something like that. Alright, so next up is Deadly Blow. That's her R ability. Strike forward with both weapons, deals 22 damage, inflicts stun, and heals yourself for 22 health on hit. So that's a massive heal. Let's get some damage first. Alright, and let's test it out, okay? So supposed to do 22 damage and heal for 22. There you go. 22 damage and a 22 heal. Pretty strong ability. Like, I mean, if you have like some damage to begin with, using it in an opponent creates like a 44 health differential, because like you sort of deal 22 damage and heal for 22. So it's really strong. But of course the stun itself is only for 0.25 seconds. As far as I know, there's a Battlerites that increases the stun duration. But I think the tiny little stun duration is more meant as an interrupt, right? Like you can interrupt channeling abilities, you can I don't know, just keep someone long enough in an AoE maybe to sort of combo a little bit. So that's like some of the uses for the R. If say like, you know, you counter the ability, get Phantom cut off, you know, you stun, so that the damage is guaranteed. That's something that you can do as well. So it sort of sets up for some burst damage basically. Pretty cool little ability. There's a kind of a big wind up, like 0.8 seconds is actually quite a long wind up. You can probably get like cancelled or like interrupted halfway if the people are like the enemies you're facing are fast enough. But if you can get it off, it's really massive. It's really painful, and plus it's a nice heal for yourself as well. So yeah, pretty cool ability. Next up, the EX ability. The first EX ability is her Shift Mouse ability, Blood Kunai, and what it does is throw a small knife that deals 8 damage and inflicts a weaken. Hitting an enemy causes the knife to bounce to a nearby ally, healing them for 16 health. If there are no nearby allies, it returns to you. So the weaken is 50% for 2 seconds. So let's try it out on this guy here. Oh wait, this guy's almost dead. So let's kill him first. And I will try it out on him, because it's supposed to heal. I'm not sure if it actually heals me. So we'll find that out now. So let's do that. Let's do this. So the weaken. So you need to use 8. But yes, it does heal you when it returns to you. So this is like pretty good against like Blood Kunai is pretty good against like other melee enemies, right? When you're like trying to face off against them. Let's say you're fighting against a Shifu 1-on-1 or a Dragon or a Croak, for example. And if you can put a weaken onto them, they're gonna deal like significantly less damage to you. Plus, you deal some damage to them and you heal yourself as well. So it's a really good trading tool. And yeah, like especially if like you're fighting up against a Croak, right? And a Croak uses their R, they're gonna out damage you, but if you use this, you can out trade them if you time it right. So yeah. Moving on to Shift Space. Shift Space is Phantom Strike. Dash forward and then back to your original position. Deal 12 damage and inflict a Fading Snare on the way out. And inflict Incapacitate on the way back. Hitting a wall triggers a wall jump that inflicts Incapacitate. And yeah, the Fading Snare... It says reduces target's movement speed to 0%. Oh, okay. Alright, I understand that. So yeah, okay. And the Incapacitate is 2 seconds. So if you use this on this guy... So it basically just does a little dash out and then back to... So the 12 damage on the way out, snare, and an incap, which is pretty cool. If you do it on a wall, you kind of get like the same effect as like a normal space bar. So yeah, that part is unchanged basically. The nice part about this thing is that it is really fast. So you see, you have a quick dash and all the way back. Whereas like a normal spacebar ability, you kind of have to charge up a little bit to get the amount of distance, right? So if you charge up, you get longer and longer distance, right? but if you just say tap spacebar once, the distance is actually not very big, right? Let me show it to you guys. So you're just sort of using it as a small little iframe basically if you just tap it once. So the nice thing about the shift space is that it's instant. It deals the 12 damage and it also does the little in cap. Of course you need like 25 energy for it, right? But I think the ability is so strong that it's worth it, I think. So her ultimate ability is Stalking Phantom, and what it does is summon a phantom that dashes forward, dealing 18 damage and stopping behind the first enemy hit. Upon arrival, it chases and strikes enemies in bursts for 18 damage up to 3 times. Alright, so to demonstrate that to you guys, let's use it on this dummy, alright? So that's the 18 damage, and then it basically chases the target and deals like 18 damage 3 times. All in like small 3 damage slices, basically. Pretty impressive, I think. What it doesn't say is that it actually deals AoE damage. Rather, it actually deals damage to multiple targets, as you can see over there. So, of course, it has to like face the correct direction. But something that it doesn't mention also is that these attacks actually trigger counters. So it's like a free counter hit. Basically, that means that Shifu, Sirius, I don't know, all the champions that has a counter, will pretty much like just nullify this out. Like, I mean, if say Shifu uses his counter, you use the out onto him, and he's just gonna teleport behind you, and then I think basically the ultimate will stop chasing him after that. So yeah, I mean, I guess something like Rook will get the invulnerability, and he can probably outrun the ultimate, for example. Sirius can just teleport somewhere, and so yeah, basically all the champions with counters has like a really easy way to circumvent like Jamila's ultimate, unfortunately, and so you might not want to use your ultimate so freely against champions with counters, I think. So on to the Battlerites. We'll go through them one by one, of course. So first of all, Shuriken. We have 3 Battlerites for Shuriken. The first one is Deadly Star, and it basically just deals 2 bonus damage per hit. So if you hit 3 times, that's a total of 6 bonus damage. Personally, I find this quite lackluster because like the bounce range itself is like super small. So say you only hit 1 target, that's like 2 bonus damage, which is pretty insignificant, I would say. So personally, I don't think it's that great, unless you know that the enemies are all stacked up. Anyway, next is Taste of Blood, and this one is, I think, quite good. Shuriken returns to you afterward, healing you for 8, 10, 12 health based on enemies hit. So as far as I understand this, if you hit 3 enemies, that's a 12 heal, and if you hit 2 enemies, it's like a 10 heal, and so on. So let's try that out. Let's pick that up. So 3 enemies, let's go. That's supposed to work. Alright, let's try on these guys. There we go. 12 health. I don't know why it doesn't work with these guys. Let's try it again. I think there's a bug with these guys. So yeah, we found a bug, guys. Anyway, so yeah, but if you hit only 1, there's 8 health. But 8 health is pretty good, I would say. Like, I mean, I think it's a pretty standard healing amount. So yeah, I think this is a must pick because otherwise she doesn't have a lot of survivability, in my opinion. Personally, I really like it, as far as I can tell, at least. I mean, I only have a couple of games with her, so yeah, just take my opinions with a grain of salt for now. But I'm just sort of explaining what I'm observing, at least. Next up is Deep Wounds, and this increases snare duration of Shuriken by 1.5 seconds. So this means that, I mean, the base duration is 1.5, and so you basically double the snare duration, and that makes it like, what, 3 seconds? And because most of the time it's going to hit 1 target, the snare is actually pretty significant, and I think it's also another really strong Battleright, and it's something that I would most likely pick quite often. Like these 2 together, because the heal is awesome and the snare is crazy, and I think Jamila is kind of like a one-on-one specialist, and so yeah, I mean, those 2 is like really powerful together, I think. Next up, Cripple. Elusive Strike inflicts Fading Snare for 1 second, and in-cap duration increases by 0.5 seconds. So let's test that out on the guy moving about over here. So let's try it out. Oh, I forgot to pick it. Whoops, my bad. That was silly of me. Alright, now that's picked. So Cripple is supposed to inflict Fading Snare for 1 second. There you go, that's the snare. The 1 second snare. Usually there's no snare, but this time it does. And yeah, and then if you hit a wall and in cap, it's supposed to last longer. So that's the 2.5 second in cap. So pretty cool. I actually glossed over this earlier. Like, I mean, I sort of didn't really think too much about it, but it seems pretty good. Like, just for the snare and the in cap, it can be pretty useful, I think, in if you want a lot of control. It seems, especially in a map where there's a lot of walls, of course, because like your spacebar ability kind of depends on walls. So yeah, seems pretty okay. I mean, I didn't even notice how good this might be, but I think it can be pretty good in like Orman Temple or like all the smaller maps, basically. Moving on to Push Off, increases the mag range of its Elusive Strike by 15%. So this is the newly upgraded dash range, and I think it's probably just alright. I think it helps a lot in the bigger maps, of course, to get like all the in caps off and stuff, because it definitely increases the in cap range as well. And yeah, again, like this is another Battlerite that I sort of didn't even consider getting earlier, but it definitely seems pretty good, especially in like Dragon Garden Day or Dragon Garden Night and all that sort of stuff. So pretty interesting. It seems like she relies a lot on her Battlerites, honestly. Like her base kit doesn't seem strong enough, and she relies on getting the right Battlerites to improve her in certain aspects so that she does well in some ways. Like, I mean, if she gets like a Taste of Blood and Deep Wounds, she's got a lot more survivability and control. And in bigger maps, she needs Push Off, it seems like it, as far as I can tell. Next up, Roundhouse Kick. Elusive Strike can be recast to kick an enemy, dealing 10 damage and knocking them away. So let's do this, do that, and then we can kick. Of course, we don't have the knockback because he died, but let's say we do it again. So we can kick. How long do we have? The timer is that's about 2 seconds, I would say. A 2-second window that you can basically do a roundhouse kick. I'm not sure how useful this would be, because like, I mean, you kind of want to be near to enemies to do damage, right? But this is like kind of knocking them away. But I guess like it could be useful for like when you have when you in-cap someone and you can kick them out of position and kick them back to your allies, basically. So let's say your allies are here, right? And then you can go sort of like kick and kick them back. That could be something that you could do. But other than that, it might be good in a one-on-one when you need to kick them away to sort of wait for your cooldowns to refresh. Other than that, I can't really think of other uses for it. Like the users is pretty niche, I would say. At least as far as I can tell. I mean, the 10 damage is nice, but you can do a lot more damage in that time where you're trying to roundhouse kick with just your normal mouse ones. So I don't think it should be picked just for the damage. It's probably more for the knockback, I would say. But yeah, Raptor's like got math. Yeah. Yeah. So okay. Moving on to Blade Swirl. Countering attack with Shadow Dance causes you to attack all nearby enemies, dealing 8 damage and inflicting Fading Snare for 1.5 seconds. So pretty cool. I think in an all melee matchup, this would be pretty useful because you'll be getting a lot more value out of this. So that's like, you guys saw that, right? Boom, there, 8 damage and a snare. Of course, we don't get to see this guy being slowed, but oh, whoops. Alright, let's do that. Boom, there you go, 8 damage. And of course, you get the Shadow Dance and all that as usual. It's pretty niche as well, I would say, because like the AoE itself is not very big, so it's only really useful against melees. You won't really get this off against range attacks or range enemies when they attack you from afar, so yeah. I guess if you're up against all melees, then it could be useful, and you're like in the thick of things, that could be useful. But yeah, pretty niche pick. Moving on to Agile Shadow. I personally like this a lot. What it does is it allows you to cast Elusive Strike while in stealth, increasing stealth duration by 0.75 seconds. So the base stealth is 2.5 seconds, so it makes it 3.25 seconds, and you are revealed while traveling and re-entering stealth and re-enter stealth afterward. So let me show what this means, okay? So this guy is gonna attack me. Okay, I'm gonna counter this. So I'm invis now. I can use my this, and then so it lets you get this phantom cut off a lot easier, basically. Right. Let me show it to you guys once again. Counter. So I can move, and then hit. So basically, lets you counter from afar. So let's say there's a jade here or something shooting at you. You counter, and then you go over there, and then you use the strong attack after the counter. So that Battlerite enables like a long range counter. Of course, you can't combo this because the counters is like that spin is wherever you countered. But this one lets you travel. See, boom, and burst the guy down basically. So yeah, I think this one is like really strong, I think, as far as I can tell at least. Because it's usually quite hard to sort of, if you played Croak, you know, right? Like, it can be quite hard to get off the melee attack. So having the increased duration helps, and the increased distance for which you can proc the extra attack is absolutely valuable, I think. Next up, it's pretty simple. Drawing Blood. Shadow Slice heals you for 10 health. So this means that when you counter, that first strike heals you for 10. Boom, there you go. Heal for 10. Pretty straightforward. Of course, it's kind of unreliable because you kind of need to proc your counter for it. But there's some nice healing, I guess, and if you really need self-sustain, it could be good. And if, of course, you have to be good at proccing your counters, of course. Next up is Phantom Blades. Phantom Cut deals 8 bonus damage, and Phantom Cut is the damage after that. So this makes it deal 30 damage instead of 22. It's some nice burst damage, and if you can combo it, I think it's really amazing. Like, if you can stop the enemy from jumping and avoiding that 22 damage or 30 damage, then this should be pretty useful, I think. It's a little fiddly to set up because, like, you might need to use your R, right? Let's say you are invulnerable, boom, and then you stun them to get the damage. But you kind of have to be, like, in melee range of your enemies for quite a long time, and it can sometimes be quite hard to get it, I think. So yeah. I mean, it is good if you can pull it off, but outside of that, it's quite unreliable, I think. Next up, it's Quick Strike, and hitting a wall with Hookshot allows you to recast to perform a short dash strike, dealing 16 piercing damage. So let's try that out. There you go, that's one, and you can recast it for about 1.5 seconds, and that gives you a little dash. It doesn't give you any iframe, so it's not an extra iframe. But it is a nice 16 damage and a little dash. So it's pretty useful against ranged enemies, because, like, say like there's a Lucy there, right? And you can sort of go like that and like boom, 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 and like you can attack. So yeah, that's it's nice against range, I think. Against melees it can be useful as well, I guess, like, because the little dash is like you can throw them off a little bit. But it is kind of fiddly to use because you do have to hit a wall with it to use it. Using it on a target doesn't give you the recast. So yeah, do bear that in mind. Next up is Firing Mechanism, and it increases the range of Hookshot by 15% and reduces its cooldown by 1 second. So originally, like, I think it's about this far, and I think with the Battlerites you can, like, yeah, hook that far away. Of course, it's very useful in when you're up against all ranged enemies. But I think there are other better Battlerites, I think. We'll get to those later, but I mean, this is pretty good in all range, I think. The range is actually really far. See? Oh, I mean, I just sort of missed, but you can pretty much teleport halfway across the map with this. Whee! There we go. But I don't, because the thing about this this ability is that there's no iframe, so you're vulnerable all the way across. So it's not like you really increase your survivability or anything. I mean, yeah, you got an increased range, but you can still be damaged and stuff if the opponent is fast enough. So I think it's just okay. The reduced cooldown is nice though, but your E isn't really your strongest ability, I think. What I've been using it for mostly has been just for mobility. I mean, the damage itself isn't even that impressive to begin with, so yeah, like just mobility, and yeah. So I think it's just alright. Next up is Momentum Strike. Hookshot deals 3 bonus damage and inflicts root for 0.8 seconds. Okay, so this is something that I haven't tried out yet. I'm not sure if the 3 bonus damage applies to both hits or just the initial hit. That's 6 and 11. Okay, so it doesn't change the 6 damage at the start, but you deal like a extra 3 damage for the second hit. So yeah, but the root is nice. Yeah, you can keep the enemy rooted long enough for you to do like a almost your full combo, as far as I can tell. Yeah. So let's do that again. Let me kill this guy first. And let's try it out. Yeah, so just about, I mean, just not enough. It's not enough to do like the whole plus 16 damage and everything, but it's long enough to get, I think, at least the first 3 hits in for 18 damage. So yeah, pretty good if the enemy doesn't have any escapes. Next up is Go for the Throat, and this increases the stun duration of Deadly Blow by 0.5 seconds and reduces its cooldown by 2 seconds. So that's your R ability, and basically making a 13-second cooldown, and you get like a increased stun duration. So it makes the stun like a lot longer for you to like set up combos and all that, which is pretty good. Because otherwise, the 0.25 seconds is like really short. I think this is quite good, but it involves you being in like melee range a lot of the time, so to really get much use out of it. And plus, like the cast time, it doesn't reduce the cast time, so it's not always that you can get it off since you might be interrupted and all that. But yeah, it is still pretty strong, so I might pick it quite often, I think. And next up is Lurking Phantom. Hitting a wall with Stalking Phantom's initial dash triggers a wall jump that inflicts Incapacitate. Incapacitate it lasts for 2 seconds. So what this means is that your ultimate ability has like a wall jump factor. So say you use it normally, it's just gonna do like the normal thing, right? But if you bounce it off the wall, or if you hit a wall with it, hold on, I didn't pick it. My bad. All right, now I have it. So if you bounce it off the wall, so it incaps everybody, and you basically get like AOE incap pretty much. So let's show it once again. So and so on. So yeah. Once again, if you are in a map that has a lot of walls, this could be pretty good. But I think playing as Jamila, like her shift right click is pretty good. Her shift space is really useful. Alright. And her R is also really useful. So you might not have a lot of energy to actually make use of her ultimate. But if you do, it could be pretty good, I think. Yeah, so there we go. One other thing actually wait a minute. Did I mention it? Yeah, I did. Okay, I thought I forgot to mention something. And of course, finally, the last one is Inspiration, which is standard for a lot of champions that has the Inspiration Battlerites. Now, this one is one of the Battlerites that I actually like a lot on Jamila, because her getting her energy fast means more Rs, more shift space, you know, more shift right clicks, and so yeah, I really like this Battlerites. And plus, let me show you guys this, okay? She can do this combo basically. So she can stun and use her ult and just like do lots and lots of damage if like she can combo if she has like 5 bars of energy. Of course, like my execution there was terrible, right? I should have started off with like an in cap, use the ultimate, and something like that, and it's a big burst damage combo basically. So yeah, I think Inspiration is really good on her because of her like need for energy. Like her shift right click does some healing. Her shift space is like an almost immediate iframe plus in cap, so that's amazing. Of course, her shift space has a weaken effect as well. Her R is like lots of burst damage, lots of self sustain, and a stun. So yeah, Inspiration I think is really good. Yeah, and so that was all of like her abilities and Battlerites. And yeah, pretty interesting. My current build that I actually like to use with her a lot is Taste of Blood, Deep Wounds, Agile Shadow, Inspiration, and then like one more of something else. That's what I've been going for so far. As far as I can tell, I think Push Off could be pretty good in like big maps. Momentum strike is pretty good if you're like trying to focus down someone like Lucy, you know, those kind of thing. Go for the throat is pretty good against, like, if you can set up for combos, like if say you're with Jade or something, right, and you want to try to set up for snipes, those kind of thing could be good. Blade Soul seems to be pretty good in all melee matchups. Drawing Blood and Phantom Blades could be pretty good as well if you're good at triggering your counters. Yeah, like she's got lots of choices. Outside of these four, I would say. I mean, I think maybe like inspiration may not be as needed, but yeah, everything like these three are like my favorite Battlerites, I think, for Jamila, as far for now at least. So yeah, that was pretty long. Just sort of introducing her abilities and Battlerites. Of course, I haven't mastered her yet. I don't think I'll ever master her because she's actually a really tough to play champion. Definitely not beginner friendly at all. But I'll do my best and show you guys some exciting gameplay with Jamila. Right? So yeah, those were all of Jamila's abilities and rights. After covering all of that, I jumped into a couple of games with Jamila with a friend to test her out. And I think my first impressions of her is that she's quite balanced overall. The reason I say this is because I think that she's got quite a balanced kit overall. She's got some decent CC abilities, some good self-sustain, decent range capabilities, and some decent burst damage options as well. Pulling off those burst damage instances can be quite tricky, but at least the challenge is fun and exciting, and I really enjoyed that challenge. As you can imagine, playing her effectively takes quite a bit of skill in my opinion, but at least the playstyle is really fun, and pulling off those burst damage instances feels super rewarding. She's by no means a beginner friendly champion, and the player must play really well to make the most out of Jamila, I feel. Her playstyle is most similar to Rukan in my opinion, who basically pokes from afar while he tries to find opportunities to engage onto enemies and deal some good burst damage. Mix in a little bit of Crook's unpredictable kind of playstyle, and you get Jamila, I suppose. So yeah, those were my first impressions of Jamila. Do let me know what you guys think of her and tell me about your experiences with her and all that. I'd love to hear about them from you guys. So that's mostly it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it useful. Thank you everyone for watching, and until next time guys, I hope you guys have a great day, keep gaming, stay chill, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
Team claimed the orb. Thunderstorm! Target eliminated. Fight. Claimed the orb. The death vortex is